It's Friday, and you know what that means. Another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. We've got a great show lined up just for you, featuring important updates and insights from one of our ministries on how that sector is driving national development this year and much more. So don't go anywhere. It's a new season, and a fresh wind of information is coming your way. First up, let's check in with the newsroom for the latest stories.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Friday, June 20, 2025. The 2025 primary exit profile PEP results show clear gains over 2024 despite lingering effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. The results of the exams, which were held in February, March, and April, were released by the Ministry of Education this morning. It reveals that 63% of students were proficient or highly proficient in mathematics, 70% in science, 71.6% in social studies, and 69% in language arts. Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon credits targeted interventions for the improved outcomes.
We are on our way. These were not the results last year or the year before, which tells us that we're on the right track. So we are on our way, and our target in the ministry is to get to 85% proficiency level by 2030 with all of these areas.
Almost 90% of students were placed at one of their preferred schools based on a list of 7 options provided.
The thing that I'm most happy about today, and I hope that my media partners here please play this up because it's a big deal. The top 10 students used to go to 3 schools. This year, the top 10 students are going to 6 different schools. And I have them there on the slide. The number 1 student in Jamaica, in PEP, will be going to Arden High School.
33,462 students from 964 schools were registered for PEP this year, with a 25% drop in absenteeism. The Education Minister says the top 2 students are from primary schools. $128 million in funding has been secured to complete water infrastructure works for the Eden Park housing scheme in St. Mary. The project, which was put on hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic, will begin shortly and done over a 6-month period. The scope of work will include the installation of a storage tank, the laying of main pipelines, and a comprehensive rehabilitation of roadways and drainage systems. This will benefit 142 houses and provide adequate water supply when complete, thus improving the quality of life for residents. During a working tour of St. Mary on Wednesday, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness said completing the water project was part of the government's commitment to regularizing development.
My job is to correct. I spend a lot of time correcting the ills and problems of the past, which this is one of them. But my job is also to chart a new course for Jamaica. And in Jamaica's spatial development and physical development, a new course has been charted.
Chair of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, Norman Brown, is imploring the cooperation and understanding of residents during the disruption and inconvenience that may be experienced, adding that this will finalize the amenities for the scheme.
This is one of the roles of the Housing Agency of Jamaica. This project is what I would call a legacy project. The community has been built long ago, but not all of the amenities have been installed. And it is now the job of the HHA to regularize and to right these communities by completing the infrastructure development.
Work to regularize settlement in the C housing estate in Galina, St. Mary is advancing with the distribution of letters of allotment to residents by the Housing Agency of Jamaica, HAJ. The agency indicates that having done a topography survey and a pre-check subdivision plan after taking over the informal community in 2020, over 290 titles are now ready for distribution. The process began on Wednesday with the handout of letters of allotment to 20 residents.
If you are not in this first allotment of 20, I don't think it should be overly concerned because we'll be coming back to you with more.
Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness told the residents that the National Housing Trust, NHT, would also undertake the build-out of basic amenities. These include water, sewerage, light and road, and is projected to cost $360 million.
So I have asked the NHT to take on the development of the road leading up into your community. And as the process of establishing your ownership is matured, the NHT will provide the funds to ensure that the other infrastructure needs are also in place.
The design is now complete for the development of a business and Freezone urban center in Boscobel, St. Mary. A sign set up to stimulate investor interest was unveiled on Wednesday by Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness and other key stakeholders. The construction will take place on 30 acres of land situated near the Ian Fleming Airport. The project will be done jointly by the Airports Authority of Jamaica and the Factories Corporation of Jamaica, FCJ. Prime Minister Holness says the development is a strategic move to expand proper planning, quality infrastructure, and the convenience of having services in proximity to where people use them.
I want you to imagine an area which is developed with buildings, with facilities for trade and commerce, with facilities for hosting a school to train pilots to fly. I want you to imagine facilities for warehousing, and I want you to imagine thousands, hundreds of people coming in and out of this facility which will be developed, both as persons employed and persons doing business.
Chairman of the FCJ, Littleton Tanny Shirley, says the development will complement the airport and its expansion plans.
To ensure that the airport acts as a catalyst to bring businesses, investors, and the sign here is to stimulate investors' interest.
The business and Freezone urban center is expected to include a BPO center employing 1,800 persons, a medical center, and government offices as well as commercial and factory outlets. A small business incubator is also being proposed for the location. The Ministry of Tourism is reviewing the Jamaica Tourist Board Act. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett says the old law will be brought to the House of Representatives for repeal next week and the new one presented.
So many changes have taken place over the last 70 years. So many new experiences have emerged. So many new systems have emerged. So many new practices too. And so many new business models. And we need to step up now and to provide the legislative and regulatory arrangements to be able to facilitate these development, to expand these development, and to provide scope for further innovation and development.
He says the new Tourist Board Act contains modernized provisions in keeping with current realities and strengthens the enforcement provisions that ensure Jamaica maintains its reputation for quality tourism experiences. The update will also enhance the JTB's ability to effectively regulate the sector, promote Jamaica as a visitor destination, and respond to emerging trends and challenges in global tourism. It will also repeal the River Rafting Act and transfer regulatory and operational functions of the River Rafting Authority to the JTB.
The ministry continues to work diligently to prioritize its legislative agenda for the year 25-26. And we are looking at strengthening our regulatory framework to modernize our operation and to ensure that our tourism sector continues to thrive in an ever-changing global environment that demands adaptivity and innovation.
Minister Bartlett was making his contribution to the sectoral debate in Parliament on Tuesday. And finally, farmers are set to benefit from more affordable agricultural inputs as the government moves to expand its farm store initiative to boost productivity across the sector. The update came from Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, during Wednesday's launch of the 71st Denby Agricultural, Industrial and Food Show.
When I go around the length and breadth of Jamaica, our farmers do speak about the price of inputs. And part of what we're doing, we're going to be working with the JAS, who now has one farm store. And we're going to be expanding over the next 5 years. We're going to be doing 2 farm stores per year, starting this year, so that we can bring cheaper inputs to our farmers to help them increase their productivity.
The minister also announced transportation subsidies for farmers attending this year's Denby Show and encouraged participation in on-site training sessions to help build capacity across various farming areas. Chief Executive Officer of the Jamaica Agricultural Society, Darren Grant, outlined new incentives for farmers and members to access the event.
We will be extending a 25% discount on tickets for our JAS members. And also a 20% discount for farmers who are registered on the National Farmers Registration and also with the Fisheries Authority ID.
The 2025 Agri Show is set for August 1 to 3 at the Denby Showgrounds in Maypen, Clarendon, under the theme, A New Era, Overcoming Challenges, Building Resilience, Securing Our Future. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
I'm Karina Powellhood. We've been planning for months, and now we're ready to share more of the essence of who we are. At the JCF Transformations, People, Quality and Technology Expo 2.0, coming June 19 to 22nd at the National Arena in Kingston and at the Montego Bay Community College. Come, see, experience what you've been hearing about your transforming police force.
Thank you for staying with us. Treat the youth right is more than a slogan. It's a strategy taking root in Jamaica's agriculture sector. The responsible ministry is actively engaging young people, building the next generation of farmers and agri-entrepreneurs. Why? So we can feed ourselves today and ensure food security for tomorrow.
Jamaica is planting seeds for the future, and the youth are the vessel. With the lowest average age of farmers in the region, the Ministry of Agriculture is pushing further to grow interest and opportunity among young Jamaicans. This year, 5,000 backyard garden kits will be distributed across urban centers, more than ever before.
The first year I did the backyard gardening program, we did 2,000, it was oversubscribed. Second year, we did 3,000, it was oversubscribed. This year, we will be doing 5,000 backyard gardening kits.
But that's not all. The government is sowing long-term investments in youth through a new scholarship initiative and graduate work program. The Face of Food Scholarship will help top agri students fund their tertiary education, and a new program will recruit, mentor, and place graduates in real-world agricultural businesses for a full year.
I'm proud to unveil that we're going to be embarking on the Graduate Recruitment Internship and Training Program, a new bold initiative designed to recruit, train, mentor, and place graduates for a minimum of 1 year. We are going to be working with the Heart Trust to place these students in agricultural-based businesses for 1 year, pay them so that they get the experience. This program will start at the end of the academic year.
From school gardens to scholarships and starter jobs, Jamaica is cultivating a new generation of farmers, and the future looks fruitful. Did you know that all employees are entitled to paid public holidays? Yes, under the Holidays with Pay order, enforced by the Ministry of Labour and Social Security, there are 4 categories of paid benefits: holidays with pay, sick leave with pay, gratuity, and sick leave benefit. And do you want to know who is entitled? Me and any employee except casual workers who have worked at least 110 days per year with the same employer. Also, if you work between 110 and 220 days, you earn 1 day of leave for every 22 days worked. Employees who work more than 220 days in a year are entitled to 2 weeks of vacation leave. And if you've been with the same employer for more than 10 years and have worked over 220 days in a year, you qualify for 3 weeks of vacation leave. So, know your rights and take your rest.
We've all heard the scary crocodile tales, but here's the truth. Jamaica is home to just one species, the American crocodile, and it's not as aggressive as its fearsome reputation suggests. In fact, these creatures are mostly shy and tend to avoid humans. We'll have more on this misunderstood reptile coming up next.
It is a humongous reptile that drives fear into most people, and rightfully so. But the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, wants Jamaicans to know that this is not at all true for the American crocodile, the only species of crocodile found in Jamaica.
One of the things that we want people to understand is there are various species of crocodiles. Our species here in Jamaica is the American crocodile, and they are not as aggressive as most of the other species.
Species like the Nile and saltwater crocodiles are vastly more aggressive, adapting to their environs and capable of catching other big animals like zebras and buffaloes, etc.
Persons tend to attack the crocodiles if they see them. They tend to see a crocodile and not leave it alone. They think that, the mere presence of the crocodile is a threat.
But the American crocodile, found here mainly in wetlands, rivers, swamps, and coastal areas, is much more passive than other species. Its nature is mostly shy and reclusive, avoiding human contact, with a diet consisting of crabs, birds, and fish, things that don't require a lot of aggression because of their lack of hunting drive. But still, they have to endure the misconceptions of more aggressive crocodiles.
There are a lot of misconceptions and fear-based reactions that persons have about crocodiles. There's a lot of fear, and to a certain degree, rightfully so. They are large predators. They can be harmful, but a cow or a dog is equally or more so harmful, and persons encounter those fairly regularly and get more injuries than crocodiles.
A lot of people have the conception that the animals are out to get you. Like they're coming in your space because they're hungry and they want to eat you and all of these things.
Ideas that are fueled by movies and documentaries. And with more infrastructure being built and people moving into wetland areas to live, more Jamaicans are coming into contact with crocodiles, a recipe for disaster, not just for humans, but the animals too. Institutions like the Holland Bay Crocodile Sanctuary in St. Thomas aid in their preservation.
One of the biggest threats when it comes down to the population of the species, aside from habitat loss, is poaching, human interaction, all of these things. So a facility like this allows for people, the general public, to come and understand how the animals operate.
It's basically getting people exposed to this particular species as well as the type of environment they live in, and it's an educational process for them.
The sanctuary serves as a research and monitoring center that also does outreach and training programs. Jamaicans are invited to the Holland Bay Crocodile Sanctuary to learn more about the American crocodile. Knowing more will aid in our interaction with the animal and help us understand the many reasons why conservation is important. One of which is the fact that they have been described as wetland engineers.
In the wetland, you have areas that the crocodile would habitually go through, and it creates this channel and it connects that water source to another water source. Without those channels, they would then be overgrown by some of the reeds. Why this is important is that those channels allow for juvenile fish. It allows connectivity between the wetlands, the estuaries, and sometimes the sea.
Environmentally, it allows for better hydrology for mangroves. Getting back to where we started, while they're generally passive, crocodiles are predators and certain conditions could see changes in behavior.
Behavioral change, just like any other animal, can be preempted by humans. So people feeding crocodiles somewhere where they know, so a fishing village, gutting the fish, throwing it. The crocodile gets used to that easy meal and associates people with being fed. Just like not a dog or a cat that you usually feed and it comes around all the time. And we don't encourage this because it can lead to tragic interactions. A crocodile may see someone and now approach instead of retreating.
It is best to let the professionals deal with them.
The correct course of action is to notify the authorities, because depending on the situation, it may be a watch and see thing, or there may need to be some sort of intervention to protect both the person and the crocodile.
For more information, contact the National Environment and Planning Agency at 876-754-026 or visit the head office at 10 to 11 Caledonia Avenue, Kingston 5.
Maintaining respect, positive interactions, and law enforcement on the road can go a long way in avoiding unnecessary tickets or fines. So how can you do that? The tips are up next.
As a police officer, I would implore all our drivers to be safe, to operate motor vehicles and drive safely. Road safety is a concern for every Jamaican citizen. Once you operate or drive safely, you make it a safe environment for all other persons to operate, whether it be the pedestrian, the motorcyclist, or the public passenger vehicles.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Keep your vehicles serviced so they're in prime condition to handle anything the road throws at them. Follow road signs and traffic signals to avoid dangerous situations and prevent collisions with other drivers or even pedestrians. Do not drink alcohol before or while behind the wheel. We all know these road safety guidelines, but many don't realize that obeying the directions of police officers in the traffic space is another critical component of road safety. They are there to ensure order is being maintained and disrupt any criminal act that may be in progress, especially those involving the use of a vehicle.
So the police from time to time will conduct operations. We class them as crime reduction operation. So from national roadblock operation, speed enforcement operation, vehicle checkpoint operation, spot checks, and so on, in which officers will be stopping you. They will be checking first to see if any breaches of the Firearms Act, the Dangerous Drugs Act, the Customs Act are being detected. If there's any breach of the Road Traffic Act, that will be dealt with.
So what's your role in helping to not hinder these activities and potentially place yourself in danger? Simple. Follow the directives of the officer that stops you.
On being stopped by the police, as a member of the motoring public or the motorist, you should bring your vehicle to a complete stop. You should bring down all your windows and keep your hands on the steering and listen for all instructions from the police. There can be multiple reasons that can arouse the police officer's suspicion and multiple breaches that can come under different legislations. You do not want to drive away from a police officer because it means that firstly you may be issued a traffic ticket for failing to comply with a constable's command. As also at Section 7 of the Road Traffic Act, you must produce your documents to the police. It is an offense for you not to produce your documents when instructed to do so by the police. So you hand the officer your driver's license, vehicle documents, then you can ask a question. You do not want a situation in that you are utilizing the electronic communication device, which is your phone, to make a call when the vehicle is in operation on the road, because that is a breach of the Road Traffic Act and you may be prosecuted for it.
And even once the vehicle has stopped, you should also refrain from using your mobile device while interacting with the police.
It would not be practicable to make a call whilst you're being searched by the officer or whilst a motor vehicle is being searched. You are required to be in full attendance at that part. But upon confirmation of what is requested of you, you should comply with the instructions given and allow the officer to carry out his duties. Good morning, ma'am. Sergeant Martindale, I'm attached to the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch. Could you bring down all your windows for me, please?
At this point, follow the officer's instructions carefully. It's crucial to listen attentively and not make any sudden movements. This ensures both your safety and the officers.
We implore all our motorists to drive safely, comply with instructions, comply with signs given. At no time should you be arguing with the officer, shouting at the officer, or you should try to assault the officer in the performance of his or her duties. You should comply, look, listen for all signals, all instructions.
So the next time you're behind the wheel, remember, safety first. By following the rules of the road and instructions of our police officers, it not only protects you, but all road users.
Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass and I'm homebound.
Another batch of young agricultural change makers is ready to take to the field, thanks to the Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program REAP, a dynamic initiative led by the Jamaica 4-H Clubs and Heart NSTA Trust. The program arms young people with life skills, business training and agricultural best practices to help them thrive and strengthen Jamaica's food security. We caught up with one standout graduate, Anissa Hibbert, National Agribusiness Pitch Competition winner and Prime Minister's Youth Awardee for Agriculture and Agri-Processing. Agriculture runs in her blood, and now with the Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program REAP support, she's confident and equipped to hit the ground running.
These skills and resources that I've earned will now help me to actually expand my business. One of my biggest goals is to become one of the leading female farmers within the Caribbean. So definitely I'll be working towards that now with the new inputs and the skills and knowledge that I've learned.
We've come to the end of our program. For a full recap and more, visit our website at jis.gov.jm. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Bye for now.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.